What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Welcome to the Monday kickoff, guys. As usual, we got a few things to cover for this week. A few things that are planned for the week to happen. Of course, we have everyone's favorite game mode. This doesn't seem to get old. Clan versus Clan starting tomorrow. This time around is not featuring personal rewards. And if we're going to have a quick look at the actual rewards that we're getting for each milestone, starting from tier 3 all the way to tier 4 in terms of gear, because tier 1 and tier 2 never changes. We have Savage gear this time around, which is definitely very, very juicy. And we have a Reflex. So definitely much better than the lifesteal we got last time. We don't know what sort of accessories we're going to get. And we've actually done the very first draw in the entire game last CVC, guys. I had two of my clans kind of like matching each other, so we decided to do a draw and test it out just for the fun of it. And yeah, it's actually possible. You can do it. That being said, we do have other things happening this week. We're gonna get 2 guaranteed events, guys. One from Ancients, one from Voids. We're gonna cover that in just a second. Friday, we're gonna have the new Forge Pass coming to the game, which is gonna bring a new avatar. And of course, is gonna bring the new gear set, which will give us 10% defense and 15% damage reduction on AoE attacks. This effect is actually stackable. So if you're gonna have equipped 3 of these sets, because it's a 2-piece set, you're gonna be able to get a 30% increased defense on your champions and a 45% damage reduction. I don't have to mention it that this set is going to be extremely powerful for the clan boss. If you are running non-unkillable teams, it's definitely going to be probably one of the most powerful sets in the entire game for clan boss. It's literally putting Stalwart down to shame, basically, you know. Then it's going to be pretty powerful for arena, for specific champions, because it's blocking AoE attacks. So either if you're going to use it on your 3v3 arena teams, on some champions, either you're going to use it on your normal arena, offense, defense, is still going to be a pretty solid set. Now, it's not going to be able to compete with Stone Skin, for example, just for the simple fact that, hey, Stone Skin is super powerful and is completely blocking all the incoming damage. So it's a pretty big difference, right? Now, let me quickly just talk about the events that are coming into the game. So we do have 2 guaranteed events, how I mentioned. Unfortunately, no legendary champions whatsoever. We don't have any other sort of news. Keep in mind, this weekend, we're going to have 2x on Void Shards, okay? So we're going to have double chances to summon legendaries and epics from Void Shards starting on Friday, okay? Now, starting tomorrow, this Tuesday, November 8th, Salmon Champions using Ancient Shards while the event is active, and you are guaranteed to get Do It Done the Runic by your 40th Ancient Shard. So here we go. Nothing in terms of guaranteed for Sacreds, guys. Save your Sacreds because they are trying to break us, okay? They're trying to break our spirit with the guaranteed events from Sacreds and hoping that we're all gonna just give in, burn all our Sacreds, and then instantly serve us with a guaranteed Sacred event. Do It Done is actually the new epic from the Sylvan Watchers. We're going to have 2 guaranteed events for this faction. So it's an epic champion, not a legendary. HP based, this is the taunt version of the epic champions. Probably a lot of you guys might be interested in the champion. He could be decent for faction wars. So the A1 attacks 1 enemy, and this is the best thing in his kit. Fully booked will have a 60% chance of removing 1 random debuff from all allies. Sounds pretty interesting. You might kind of think a bit about Doom Priest, but unfortunately it's only a 60% chance for it to happen. The A2 attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 15% of this champion's max HP, increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. Now, if this was gonna be on a 3-turn cooldown, this would have been a serious champion. A solid game changer, right? With the A1. Unfortunately, this is on a 4-turn cooldown. We have many other champions that increase the duration of buffs on a 3-turn cooldown. The A3 places a taunt buff on this champion for 1 turn. Also places a strengthen buff and a counter-attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, and this skill is on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, probably a lot of you guys might be wondering, Skratch, what is Taunt actually doing? Can we use Taunt to kind of like deal with any of the Hydra heads, or can we use it against arena champions? What can we do with that? Basically, no, you cannot. So, Taunt breakdown right here is not a provoke, okay? So let me just put it like that. Provoke is 10 times better. Taunt buff will make champions that have single skills to target me if I have the buff, okay? So I'm gonna buff Taunt, you're gonna be forced to attack me with single skill targets. If you have AoE skills available, A2, A3, you're gonna attack my entire team. It doesn't matter, okay? So Taunt is pretty irrelevant. I don't really understand it. If it's not working like the provoke, it's honestly not a very powerful buff, you know, and it's not gonna be a game changer. On Hydra, the Head of Mischief attacks the champion with the highest amount of buffs. This is not gonna override that. Another head is gonna attack the champion with the lowest HP. This is not gonna override that. So it's pretty pointless for Hydra, pretty pointless for Arena, more or less. Like, I can find a very small use for Arena, very niche, but none of these champions are actually good enough, strong enough for Arena at the moment. We'll see in the future if anything comes with it. And we have increases ally defense in all battles by 20%. Now, probably a lot of you guys might be curious about this champion. Is it really worth it for me to open? Is it really worth it 40 ancient shards to get this champion? Now, Platinum confirmed that the faction crypt will not open at least for the next 6 months. What I would probably suggest is save your 40 ancient shards and open them during a 2x event. You're gonna have higher chances to get more epic champions, probably some from this faction, probably not, and you're gonna get higher chances to summon legendaries during 2x. I really do not think this champion is worth 40 ancient shards on a non-2x event. That's my opinion. Yeah, he looks cool, but that's about it. The A1 is single target. This is AoE on a 4-turn cooldown. This skill is pretty meh. I really don't think it's worth it. That being said, moving over to the next champion. Wednesday, November the 9th, Salmon Champions using Void Shards while the event is active, and you're guaranteed to get White Dryad Nia by your 30th Void Shard. Now, she is definitely a different story. She's a pretty awesome champion, pretty good base stats. The A1 attacks all enemies. We have a chance to land decreased speed. That's great for Hydra, great for the Iron Twins Fortress. The A2, on a 3-turn cooldown, removes all debuffs from a target ally, then heals them by 40% of their max HP. If the target of this skill is not this champion, decreases the cooldown of all of the target skills by 2 turns. So this is actually a pretty interesting skill. You can definitely try to make some clan boss teams with it, some different crazy things. The A3 places an ally protection buff and a strengthen on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. The passive, whenever this champion is healed, heals each ally except this champion by 20% of that heal. Now, Skratch, is this champion worth it 30 Void Shards? I think she is. Honestly, I think she is worth the 30 Void Shards. Now, keep in mind, we do have 2x on Void Shards this weekend. This would have been more appropriate as 20 Void Shards and 20 Ancient Shards as guaranteed. I feel like that would have been a decent amount of shards to pay for these champions, but it is what it is. It's going to be up to you if you want to get a champion. She's not going to be as game-changing as a Seer. She's not going to be as a game-changing as a Geomancer, but she is still a strong champion, and if you think that you might need it, definitely considering getting her. For Faction Wars, she's definitely going to be 10 times better than the one we got from Ancient Shards. That being said, that's pretty much everything in terms of guaranteed events. Of course, we do have the faction events starting, faction tournaments. We're going to have the very first one starting in 2 days, and that's going to be the Fire Knight tournament with the Demon Spawn faction. You have a Lure in there, you have Kaimar, you have a lot of strong champions that you could potentially use in the in the Fire Knight. I feel like Dark Elves in a way or another would have been better for the Fire Knight, and it would have been better to go for the Spider with this faction, but hey, the votes kind of picked it. Everybody thought of Allure, and they were like, that's it, we're doing Fire Knight with Allure. You do have some decent options. If you need some strong DPS, Magnar could actually do the job. Padma would be a nice attack down. Akak, a nice support. It's gonna be pretty hard to rely only on this for the Fire Knight. You know, of course you have Kutraxa for the luckier people out there who has a lot of hits. We have Lord Shazar, Dragstar, so this could potentially help you to deal easier with the Fire Knight. You know, so we're gonna get ready for that. I think this is pretty much everything happening this week. Very unusual. Today we got a 3v3 arena tournament. I definitely prefer them at the beginning of the week because everybody gets to put a weak defense in, you know, like a one-man defense, and bang, you're gonna get to actually farm easier, you know. At least in the higher tiers. In the lower tiers, yeah, it's gonna be a bit different because people wanna rank up. They don't really care about farming medals. That was all for this video, guys. Forge Pass on Friday, guaranteed from Ancients tomorrow, guaranteed from Voids on Wednesday. We're gonna have the new faction tournament starting as well this week. 2x Voids starting Friday as well. So kind of like think about it. Next week, who knows? We might get another event, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to break us with the Sacred Shards, and it's gonna be a while since something will happen, but definitely stay strong, hold your Sacreds. That was all for this video. Much love. I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.